Hi, and welcome back to Pinky Boo Hauntings. I'll be your witchy host, Shy, and I'll be your guide to all things paranormal, weird, and spooky. Guys, did that retrograde destroy you? 'Cause it sure did make me feel like I was in the middle of traffic, being tossed around and getting thrown into the air by a car. I've been trying to stay grounded, but man, is it testing me. Which I know is part of it, but still. I'm tired, y'all, and I still have 2 days left to get through. And yes, I know this episode will be coming out way after the retrograde, but still. I know you guys are probably still feeling the effects of it. We can still vent about it nonetheless. So let's vent together and maybe give some tips and tricks to get through these trying times. But since this will come out long after the end of the Mercury retrograde, maybe you'd like a moment to forget all about the craziness you went through during that time. And the best way to do that is to hear some crazy paranormal stories. So, why don't we start things off with a story from a post called Cops and Other Law Enforcement People of Reddit. What were some cases you worked on that made you think, even if for a moment, that something supernatural, paranormal was going on? After finding this post, I almost made this episode themed around paranormal stories from emergency responders, but I wasn't having too much luck. So I might keep digging and do that episode later. But what else could help that is sending in your stories. Eh? Eh? Alright, I'm done. I'm sorry. Let's actually get to the story now. Cop. Real call. I've been on patrol for several years and love stuff like this. I had a backup officer with me who witnessed everything. Dispatch sent me on a call in the mountain area late one night. Dispatch said the caller reported several people holding a baby above their heads and chanting while standing on her property. I'm kind of surprised with it being a mountain area, she didn't go out shooting because I know they kind of do that up there. The call sounded ridiculous. I smirked as dispatch gave the details. I arrived at the proper address after driving about 20 minutes along a mountain road. There's not much else up here, and it was extremely quiet. No one walks around out here, and there aren't very many cars driving this late. I walked along a gated driveway through a light wooded area. I found the caller's house with two dim lights near the front door. The house was surrounded on three sides by heavy woods. I felt a little uneasy just looking at the house. Oh no, did that lady call them to trick someone into coming up there? 'Cause it's weird you're getting an uneasy feeling looking at the house, especially since it doesn't seem to be a part of this except for the fact that it's the caller's house. I knocked on the front door of the house while standing on a large patio. I heard something move to my left, which startled me because it was close. It sounded like a person, something big. I looked to the left and used my flashlight to light up the patio. I didn't see anyone. Wait, is this cop about to encounter a Bigfoot or maybe a demon? I should do a Bigfoot episode. Would you guys like that? I've been looking for stories, but most of them are videos and stuff like that. Not really what I'm looking for right now, since I'm just doing audio only. But maybe one day I can do something with all of the video stuff I find. Not just the Bigfoot stuff either. For now, though, I just want to find some stories I can read. Anyways, let's get back to the story. Again, I continued to knock. I could hear two voices inside the house. I clearly heard a male and a female. This made me feel a little better. I thought I heard somebody on the patio, but it must have been someone inside. I don't know if that would make me feel better, because now there are possibly three people surrounding you. Seems sketchy to me. Wait, didn't they say they had a partner with them? Where's this person at in all of this? So far, they're telling the story like they are alone. The female eventually opened the door. She was terrified, almost crying. She asked me to come inside and to close the door. She led me to the living room, where I saw a very cheap security monitor, almost like a baby monitor camera set up, with audio and video playing. The camera setup only provided live feed. The camera was positioned to view the front door and patio area where I was just standing. The audio was silent as I watched the monitor for a few seconds. The woman began to explain when I interrupted and asked where the male was inside the house. I heard his voice. She looked confused and said she was here alone. I was surprised because I know for a fact I heard a male voice when I knocked. I asked her several times and initially thought she was lying to me. My partner checked the house and did not find anyone. Oh, never mind, there's the partner. The woman said she was reading while sitting on the couch when she heard something over the security camera. She looked at the display and saw two people on the patio, standing at the front door. She heard knocking at the door and called the police. I looked at the monitor, and although it was low quality, I could see the patio and front door area with decent clarity. As the woman continued to explain, the audio on the monitor went from quiet to extremely loud. We all stopped talking. The caller was shaking. I looked at the monitor, but didn't see anyone. Loud audio continued to blast in the speakers. The audio sounded like wind, but it was not windy that night. I asked the woman, "What is that?" And she said, "It's them." I looked at my partner, who was nervous. My hopes of this being a Bigfoot are dwindling. The woman gives me her cell phone, stating she took pictures of the monitor, showing the two people on her patio. I looked through several low quality pictures and didn't see anything. I continued to scroll, and sure enough, I see what look like two tall figures standing at the door. One of the figures is holding something. The figures look strange, all dark and featureless. In contrast to the video I saw on the monitor, I was in disbelief and thought, oh my god, she's telling the truth. I continued to scroll and saw one figure holding something over its head. Another picture showed the item at the base of the door with both figures standing near it. I tried to reason, to explain what could have been causing these images, but it was pretty apparent that there had been two subjects on her patio. I know you're a cop, but subjects makes it sound like it's people, and I get the feeling these aren't people. They're definitely something from the woods, though. Sadly, I still don't think it's a Bigfoot or Bigfoots. Either way, I'm sad. We check outside, walking the property to the tree line. I mention the movement on the patio and the male's voice from inside the house. My partner asked me to stop talking about it. We finish checking and return to speak to the caller. She says she will be driving into town and staying at a hotel because she is too scared to stay here tonight. We walk along the driveway back to our cars. My partner jumps into the patrol car and takes off. I laugh, but I felt really uneasy, standing there in the dark. I leave shortly afterward. Wait, that's it? Also, I think your partner knows something about what is really going on. Like, they knew whatever this could have been. Because why did they tell you to stop talking about it and just leaving as soon as they could? I think they've heard stories about those woods before and wanted nothing to do with it. I still want to know what those things were and what they were doing there. Were they trying to mess with that lady or trying to harm her? And who was that you heard in the house with the lady? I kind of hate that there's so many unanswered questions for this one. Well, since sadly I'm not going to get any answers, why don't we move on to our next story? People who used to not believe in ghosts, but do now. What experience changed your mind? I lived in a haunted house for basically my whole life. It used to scare the heck out of me when I was little, but I basically got desensitized to it. We always experienced hearing footsteps, voices upstairs when everyone was downstairs, dogs following nothing around the room. Typical ghost stuff. Some of the stranger experiences include my grandma seeing her mother in her room at night, my mom seeing a ball of light floating in our hallway, my brother and I separately heard fingernails tapping on the walls in our bedrooms. And when we called our mom in to listen, the sound would stop. Then, as soon as my mom left, it would start again. Oh, I hate that. Especially when it stops when you're trying to get your mom to hear it too. Or really anyone. Because that spirit is really messing with you and trying to make you feel crazy. Or at least seem crazy to other people. Either way, it's annoying. We experienced this at different times. My brother for a week or so, and then me. And without knowing the other one was having the same experience. I had a desk toy in my room that had a little foam ball hanging from a chain. My cousin and I were playing video games, and the ball randomly bounced like someone was tapping it from below. The kicker was when my mom started feeling like something was climbing into bed with her. She described it as like a dog trying but failing to climb up on the foot of the bed. She thought it was my dad moving his feet. Then she felt it when he wasn't there, and she was wide awake. So she knew it wasn't him. Absolutely not. I don't like that it was trying to climb in bed with her like that. Multiple times at that. Ew! She kept this story to herself. And then a few days later, my uncle stayed the night in the guest room and described feeling the exact same thing. At this point, my mom waited for a day that everyone was out of the house. She opened up the windows and told the spirit that it either had to leave and move on or it wasn't allowed to bother us anymore. Since then, we gone from activity every day to one off experiences every few months. We've been told by several people who have slept in a guest room and had nightmares about it that there is a portal in the closet of our guest room. Sometimes I think that spirits just pass through occasionally and cause a flurry of activity. I have more stories if anyone wants to hear more. First off, I love that your mom put her foot down and told that spirit it needed to stop or get out. I say it all the time, but when a spirit is causing you problems, set boundaries. It usually calms down activity. And if not, that's when you start working on kicking them out. Second of all, I have to say that spirit was probably trying to see if it could get a rise out of you guys, which is why when your mom told it to get out, it realized it wasn't going to get what it wanted. It probably moved on to somewhere else. As for the portal in the closet, I can see it. If after kicking out one spirit, you still have activity, it's possible you have spirits coming in and out. They weren't there when your mom set the boundary, so it's very possible those spirits are just coming through, not knowing. I'm not sure how you would close a portal, but that would probably be the best way to keep those spirits from disturbing you all. Oh, you could try cleansing the closet. I don't know if it would do anything to get rid of the portal, but it might help keep the spirits coming in from doing too much harm. I need to make me a grimoire, because now that I'm thinking about it, I swear I remember something you can do when dealing with a portal. But of course, I can't remember, which is why I need to have it all written down so I can just find it easy. I have a lot of stuff saved on my phone, but I never can find them when I need them, or I just forget about them completely. It's just so much easier for me to find stuff if it's in a book. At least, usually. Oh well, why don't we just move on to our next story? This one was found in the Ask Reddit subreddit in a post called Long Haul Truckers. What's the creepiest, most paranormal thing you've seen on the road at night? A good friend of mine told me this story years ago. He is a stereotypical old big bad trucker. I've seen some stuff with him while driving in South Texas along the border. He never batted an eye, but while telling me this story, he had goosebumps in a concerned expression, which from this guy is about the equivalent of a trembling lip and shit stained pants. I'll tell the story in the first person as he told it to me. Years ago, in the late 90s, I was on my way from the house, Central Texas, heading to Loretto to pick up a load. It was early morning, around 4 or 5. I had just come off a string of days at home, so I know I wasn't tired. I am on one of those two-lane winding roads in the absolute middle of bumfuck nowhere. When I see something on the side of the road, at the edge of my high beams, at first I just thought it was roadkill, as is usually the case. As I get closer, I see that it is roadkill, and there's someone crouching over the deer carcass. I remember thinking either this guy's taking the antlers as a trophy, or he's fucking sick. As I got closer still, I can now see that this guy's eating the fucking deer. He's pulling chunks of meat from the stomach and bringing them to his face. Oh, ew. No. I hate everything about that image. Ew. I didn't want to know. You could have just left that part out. No one would have been sad about it. At this point, he stops mid motion and looks up at me. Not at my truck, but at me. It stands up, and that's when I see that it's fucking huge, brown, and covered in hair. I remember thinking at this point, oh fuck, this thing is standing on a tiny shoulder looking at me. By this point, maybe 3 seconds have passed, and I'm about at the point in the road he's standing at. I didn't even think of stopping. In fact, I'm starting to lay on it and get the hell out of there. As I'm passing it, it's looking at me. Again, not at the truck. It's looking through the driver's side windshield. at me. He obviously has the intelligence to know that there's a driver in there and knows where I'm sitting. As I start passing him, I can still see its head above the hood of an old needle-nosed Jeep. Old truck design where the hood goes straight out from the windshield, known for being tall and difficult to see around. This thing is fucking giant. I remember seeing what looked like human intelligence in its eyes. It scared the shit out of me. Oh my god, no way. Did your friend see a Bigfoot? Did I find a Bigfoot story without realizing it? 'Cause yeah, what else could that be? It sounds like a Bigfoot. I don't blame your friend for hitting the gas, 'cause honestly, I'd do the same thing if I saw it. Even if it was a human, I'd still do that. 'Cause I'm not about to get attacked without a fight. I still can't believe I found a Bigfoot story after trying so hard to find one. I found one when I thought it was going to be a ghost instead. I'm sorry I don't have much to say about this one. I'm just in shock that I managed to do that. I can see why this would scare the shit out of a big tough trucker guy. 'Cause who wouldn't be scared by this? I'm just happy the Bigfoot didn't do anything. 'Cause I feel like this man would have ran it over so fast. And while it would have been super sad, it'd be its own fault for trying to come after him. Alright, guys, that's all for today. If you're enjoying the podcast, please consider rating and reviewing, as well as liking and subscribing if you're on YouTube. It really helps grow the coven. And of course, another way to help us grow is to spread the word. I truly appreciate it all. Even if you're just listening to me, I am so grateful for anything and everything you guys do. Oh, one more thing. You probably already know where I'm going with this, but if you have a story you'd like me to read on the podcast, please send it in. Especially if you have a Bigfoot story. I want to do a whole episode on the creature, but I need stories. So help a girl out and send in your stories. Same for if you're an emergency responder. I know you guys see some crazy paranormal stuff, and I want to hear about it. If you have any stories at all, send them in to pinkyboohauntings@gmail. The email will also be in the show notes and the description below. But for now, the coven is adjourned. See you next time. Bye.